mamas, Alexandria here, 35-year-old toddler mom, therapist, and gym rat. I lost nearly 40 pounds postpartum and it changed my life. So now my goal is to help other mamas and other women to be the best versions of themselves. And one of the most common questions that I get is, what series do you use? People see my weight loss story or see my photos and they ask, what kind of workout programs do you do? And so today this is the video and I'm going to share with you all things Caroline Girvan here on YouTube. I'm going to walk you through each of her series and explain them to you and give you my sort of opinions on all of them because I have tried every single series here on YouTube and they're all free. So it's really awesome. So if you are ready to break down all the workouts so you can figure out which place is the best place to start for you, let's go. So how I thought I would structure this video is I'm going to do it in order of time length. So we're going to start with the 1 week series and there are 13 of those. Then we're going to cover the slightly longer ones in the middle. And then at the very end of the video, I'm going to cover the 10-week series, and there are 5 of those. So I'm going to do my best. I probably won't be able to leave timestamps for every single workout series, but if you know which length of time you're looking to work out in, those will be listed for you in the description bar. So I'll make sure there's a timestamp for the 1 hour series, not the 1 hour series, the 1 week series, the multi-week series that aren't 10 weeks, and then the 10-week series. So if you're looking for just something specific, that's how you'll find them in the video. So check the description bar. If you're like, I don't know that I want to watch hear her talk about every single series today, I don't have time for that, that's cool too. So I'll leave that for you in the description bar. And I'll also leave the order that they're mentioned in the description bar, so even if you want to skip around, you have a better idea of how to do so. Hopefully that makes sense. So, all right, so let's jump into the 1 week series. Like I mentioned, there are 13 of these, so I'm not going to repeat 1 week for 13 times. I'm just going to tell you once we've switched over. So first off, we have Kick A kettlebells, and this is one of the only, if not the only, kettlebell exclusive workout weeks on the channel. You can use kettlebells if you choose to, if you have them, but this is one of the only non-dumbbell and kettlebell focused series. This one's going to be a little on the higher intensity side and there's more cardio components in it compared to some of the other series, but this is a really fun series. I don't know that I would recommend this for a very beginner simply because it takes a lot of coordination to sort of balance the kettlebell if you're utilizing unilateral work, so one hand versus the other. So it might not be the best option for those of you who are brand new, but if you really enjoy kettlebell workouts or you have wanted to try a kettlebell workout and you have a kettlebell, this is a great choice. And these workouts are 30 minutes in duration. I'm not sure how I ended up with challenging workouts on the front end. I mean, nothing about Caroline's workouts are easy. They can be easier if you make them easier, but they can be extremely difficult depending on how much work you're willing to put into the workout. So you can sort of modify things at your disposal. So there are modifications so that you can make them easier if you want or need to, but you can also make these workouts extremely challenging. So it really just depends on your level and kind of where you are. And I really do think that anybody can use any of these workouts. It's just a matter of meeting your needs and going at the pace that's comfortable for you. But the next one is Hiit It Hard, HIIT. And this one is a very challenging workout series. These are 20-minute workouts, but they are framed in higher intensity interval training style. And so they focus on different muscle groups. There's I've got my notes here. There is a 1 lower body, 1 upper body, and then 3 full body workouts. And it does consist of both dumbbells and body weight only work. But again, this one is going to be a sweaty one. So if you like sweaty workouts or you like a higher intensity style or you just want to get in, get out, get the workout done, this is a good option for you. But maybe not the most beginner friendly. Next up, we have Pure Endure. And Pure Endure, that sounds really weird when I say it, but Pure Endure is a challenged base program. So each workout is a challenge of some kind that you're trying to meet a certain number of reps or things like that. So if you're looking to shake things up, this is a great option for you, but you might want a stability ball as well as some ankle weights to complete some of the workouts in this series. These are running 30 to 45 minutes depending upon the workout. And let's see, I have to read to you there are 3 lower body workouts, 1 upper body workout, 1 full body workout, and then 1 body weight cardio challenge. So I am consulting my notes, and yes, my cat ate my homework. Anyway, all right, I probably just threw off all the lighting. I took notes, so I apologize that I'm having to read from them, but there's a lot here. Number 4 is Caroline Calisthenics. Okay, so Caroline Calisthenics is just what it says. It's a body weight only calisthenics workout. And the thing about calisthenics workout, particularly with Caroline, I don't know about with other people, but with Caroline and calisthenics, it kind of feels like I'm practicing for Cirque du Soleil, but that I'm doing a really crappy job. So these two require a certain level of coordination that some of us have and some of us don't. So if you're athletic in that way where you're pretty coordinated, the calisthenic workout might feel easier for you than for someone like me who, struggles with some balance on occasion and needs some more core work. So that's just something to keep in mind. But even though these are body weight only, they're still plenty challenging, and maybe more challenging to some than some of I can't talk. Maybe more challenging to some than doing like the dumbbell workouts, because they require more complex or more mobility that some of us may or may not have. So something to keep in mind. And these are going to run you 30 to 45 minutes. This one, there is 2 lower body workouts, 1 upper body, 1 full body, and 1 body weight only HIIT. So that's what you're going to get in Caroline Calisthenics. And if you love this kind of content, I would love to be one of your non-judgy mom friends. If you want non-judgy mom friends who are going to help you reach your goals, that is my goal with this community. So please make sure that you subscribe, and please leave me a comment and say hello. I would love to say hello to you and just check in with you about how you're doing, what questions you have. So please come and say hello and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I would love for you to be part of this family. The 5th series is Strong and Lean, and this is the first series that I think, yes, I do think this one is probably a good option for a straight up beginner. And this is a 1 week long series. It is body weight only, and so it's kind of calisthenics based. And so the same thing that I just said about Caroline Calisthenics, where it could be a bit more challenging in some areas, I do feel like it's a slower or more moderate pace than some of the other workout programs that she uses. And so in that way, I think it could be a bit more beginner friendly in some ways. These workouts are between 45 and 60 minutes. And we've got 2 lower bodies, 2 upper bodies, and a 60-minute full body workout. And I remember the 60-minute full body workout being pretty challenging. But again, go at your own pace. As Caroline always says, you versus you. And so if that's something that you want to do, or you're interested in trying some body weight only first, I think if you're choosing between Caroline Calisthenics and this one, I would choose this one if you're newer to working out and you're just kind of getting started. Is Tempo Week. And Tempo Week is basically a combination of both dumbbell and body weight workouts that modify and shake up the tempo. So you might be moving quickly, you don't really move quickly with dumbbells, but you might be using a faster pace, you might be using a slower pace, some dead stop kind of options, just sort of shaking up the movement in which you are performing the different moves. And so in that way, it can be challenging. But as I said earlier, all of these can be challenging in their own way, depending on how challenging you choose to make them. I really enjoyed this one. I think it's a lot of fun because I like tempo work. These are 30 to 40 minute workouts depending on the workout, and I'm just going to read for you again. So we got 2 upper bodies, 1 lower body, 1 full body, and 1 body weight only HIIT. So that's what you can expect from this week's type of work. Again, this one is a lot of fun if you like to change up the tempo of things and you want to move more quickly in some areas, but also some of those like dead stops and slower pace. You're going to get like a nice mix of those throughout the week. Number 7 is the Pyramid Series, and the Pyramid Series is just exactly what it sounds like. These are also going to be 30 to 45 minute workouts, and you rise up the pyramid and then you go back down. So basically you're working in time increments, and so it might be like 20, 40, 60, 60, 40, 20, and so forth and so on. So each time you go through a movement, you're going to build up. So it can very much feel like a false sense of hope because it feels really easy on set number 1 because you're like, oh yeah, 20 seconds of whatever, no big deal. But by the time you built up and then built back down, that last 20 seconds at the bottom of the pyramid feels significantly more difficult than when you started the pyramid. But this is also primarily a dumbbell workout. There is some body weight involved as well, but there's mostly dumbbells. And then this is 2 lower body, 1 upper body, one full body, and a dumbbell hit. Number 8 is no repeat week, and this one actually has 10 different workouts in it because they all vary between 10 and 30 minutes. So these can be nice to sort of shake things up and mix and match your workouts depending on what you're interested in. These are also going to be a great option for you if you're just like a one and done, like get in, get out sort of style. And like it says, it's no repeat. You're only going to do each movement one time, unless it's something unilateral, then what we do on one side, we must do on the other. And so those are what you can expect. So this is great for the person who doesn't necessarily like to repeat things or doesn't like to do multiple sets of the same kind of exercise. But there's lots of value in that, and there definitely will be that later on in the other programs that we talk about. This just isn't one of them. But again, this is sort of a mix and match and sort of combine on days you want to. And I mean, it's fun. It's not my favorite program for whatever reason, but there it is. All right, next up is Unilateral Week, and Unilateral Week is a 30 to 45 minute workout program, also just like most of the other ones. This one is what we do on one side, we must do on the other, and that's exactly what it is. This is a great one if you like to do single side work and want to work on your stability with your core, because oftentimes unilateral is going to be more challenging for you on one side than it is on the other. This is a combination of both dumbbell and body weight exercises, and for this one we have an upper body, a lower body, a calisthenics full body, a dumbbell full body, and a body weight only. Number 10 is the circuit series, and this one runs between 30 to 60 minutes. I think there's only one hour workout in here, if I'm not mistaken. And this one is exactly what it says. These are circuits. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a series of exercises that you're going to repeat. You're going to do one round of them, and then you'll repeat the circuit. So that's what you can expect from the circuit series, is you're going to have different kinds of circuits throughout the week. This one is going to be 2 lower bodies, 1 upper body, 1 60-minute full body, and that one is a pretty challenging full body, and a dumbbell hit. Gotta love a good dumbbell hit. So that's a fun one. Again, if you like the idea of working in circuits, that's what a lot of people utilize at the gym. But if you're not super familiar with circuits, it really just is the idea of, moving through a different grouping of exercises and then running them again, as opposed to doing like multiple of one exercise before you keep going. Hopefully that makes sense. 1 hour, 1 week series. So this one is a great option, I think, for beginners, even though an hour of a workout with Caroline is always going to be a challenging workout. I think if you enjoy a good moderate paced workout, the 1 week, 1 hour series is a good one for you. And I recently just did this one. It's one of my most recent finishes, so I have a more distinct memory of it. But the 1 hour series is a combination of body weight, but also it adds the dumbbells as well. But because it's an hour long, there is a more moderate pace to it. So I think if you are newer to working out, if you have an hour to dedicate, this one might be a good option for you to utilize. You have next, number 12. This is probably my favorite of the short series, not because it's not challenging. In fact, it's extremely challenging, and it's one of the most challenging leg days I think I can recall ever doing with Caroline, and that's the complex series. I love complexes. Not everybody does. To some people, complexes are torture, but complexes are basically the idea of a combination of typically 2, sometimes 3 exercises over the course of a window of time. So it might be let's say you have 3 minutes on the clock and you're going to do 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, and 10 of something else, and then once you do that, you'll start over again until your time expires. So that's what a complex is. And so this is a 30 to 60 minute work week. You're definitely going to have that really intense first leg day. So don't let that discourage you. That one is the most challenging of all of the complex workouts in my opinion. But you want to think about going with a little bit lighter of a weight during complexes, because you're going to have to hold the weight for a much longer period of time than you do with some of the other kinds of series, because most of the complexes are going to run you about 2 minutes in duration. So that means you have to hold on to those dumbbells, or theoretically, unless you take a break, you're going to be holding on to those dumbbells for about 2 minutes, maybe even 3, depending on the workout. And this one is 2 lower bodies, 1 upper body, 1 full body, and 1 combination dumbbell and body weight hit. Again, this is one of my all-time favorites. If you want a solid workout, complexes are one of are one of my favorites, but I also know that I'm a weirdo. And this video is taking incredibly long. So hopefully you've got some tea or coffee or something because this one's taking a while. The very last one is the Epic Beginner. And I intentionally put this one last because this one is the series or the week-long series that Caroline designed specifically to help you figure out if you're ready to move on to the Epic series that we'll talk about when we get to the 10-week series. So this is a great option if you're trying to decide if you feel like you're ready for the Epic series. Caroline says this is the week to do. So it's again a 1-week series. These workouts are going to be 30 minutes long, and we've got 1 lower, 1 upper, 1 abs and core, 1 full body, and 1 HIIT. And then this one is also going to be a combination of body weight only as well as some dumbbells. But basically, Caroline's recommendation on this one is that you should do this particular series as many times as you need to, as many weeks as you need to sort of build up what you need to start the Epic series. You don't have to do this, and in fact, when I started with Caroline, I don't believe that this series existed. But now that it does, if I were to do it again, I would certainly start here. I'll tell you where I started here in just a little bit. But okay, friends, that is all of the 1-week series. I know that was very long. I think that probably took like 10 to 15 minutes. So let's move on to the slightly longer series, shall we? All right, so we've got a 2-week series, a 3-week series, 2 6-week series, and then we'll cover the 10-week series. So the 2-week series on YouTube is called Beast Mode. There is a Beast Mode in the app now also that's a longer series, but Beast Mode is a 2-week series, and really it is exactly what you would expect. It's a relatively sort of like intense boot campish style of workout. I definitely remember there being burpees in this one because I don't know, I remember these burpees. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. Mode workouts are 30 to 40 minutes, and for this one, you're going to have 2 lower body, 1 upper body, 1 full body, 1 HIIT cardio, in rotation with 1 lower body, 2 upper body, 1 full body, and 1 HIIT/cardio. So basically, you're reversing the order the second week. So 2 leg days, and then the following week will be 2 arm days. And again, this is a moderately intense sort of series. I feel like each of them has the capacity to be super intense. So, I mean, I guess I should probably stop saying that. But this is primarily dumbbells, but there are some calisthenics in this one also. Then the 3-week series is the Advent calendar, and there actually is an Advent calendar running on the app now as well. Again, we're not really here to talk about the app, but the Advent calendar is currently running, and so if you're hearing, you may see some different things depending on when you're watching this, but there is a specific Advent calendar. It's Caroline's 24 Days of Christmas or something like that. So this one is about 3 weeks long, and these vary in duration. I made note of like 12 to 20 minutes, and it's 3 weeks long. So this is going to vary in terms of time and intensity, but don't underestimate these shorter workouts. It doesn't mean you're going to get less of a workout. Oftentimes, if you're choosing a shorter video, like if you're choosing a 20 or 30-minute video, more often than not, it's going to be more intense than something that's a little bit longer. So just keep that in mind. So these are great little short workouts. This, in my opinion, is a good one for beginners potentially, just because you've got a shorter window of time. And so if you wanted to work at like a more moderate or slower pace, you could certainly do that. And one of my favorites, so there's a cardio complexes workout in this Advent calendar that I really love if you like want to get a good sweat on. And then there's another one that I really love. I can't think of the day off the top of my head, so I'm going to put it on the screen, and you'll probably be watching a video of me doing this one while we talk about this. But it's one of my favorite full bodies, and it's just a really great workout. So there's a lot of great workouts in here, and you're getting a lot of different muscle groups being worked throughout the entire 3 weeks. Okay, friends, we've made it to the 6-week programs. So there are 2 6-week programs. The first 6-week program is Iron. Iron is a dumbbell focused exclusive workout, and this does not have any sort of cardio component. And this is you can tell from the Caroline Girvan Facebook group that this is a really popular series for people in the group. Tell from because there's no HIIT component. And so in that way, if you're newer to weightlifting, this is good for you. But I can see why now that I've gone back and completed this series, why people like it so much, because if you go heavy, you can really get a terrific workout, but you can also back off a little bit if you're just not ready to do so. So it gives you a nice variety and range in terms of how hard you work, because you're going to move at a moderate to slower pace than you will in some of the other series. And again, it's 6 weeks long. So throughout the series, you're going to get a good combination of, upper, lower, full body workouts. It's just that there's no HIIT component. And I kind of feel like this is a good one for people who don't want to add in that additional cardio and just try to want to work in their cardio by lifting heavier weights. Because if you want a really solid workout with iron, you want to lift heavier. So that's something to keep in mind. And then the other 6-week program is kind of the other end of the spectrum, and that's fuel. And it seems like to me there are like two camps in the Caroline group. You're either like team fuel or you're team iron. I used to be team fuel, but I really have learned to appreciate, as I've grown to appreciate weightlifting, I've really learned to appreciate the iron series, but I do really love fuel. And fuel is the opposite of iron in that fuel infuses cardio components in throughout the entire series. So you're going to get those HIIT workouts still, but you're also going to get sort of like cardio style components fused into each of the workouts. In this one, I always tease with my friends and family that do these workouts with me, is it feels like she does so many burpees that she just started making up new names, so she didn't have to call them burpees anymore. That's how it feels. So if you like a higher intensity, if you enjoy, a really good, like intentional sweat and a higher heart rate, fuel is a great option for you. I really love fuel. It's one of my absolute favorites. And these workouts are 30 minutes in duration, just like they are in iron, which also, again, from a time perspective, makes them more convenient. I have been talking for a really long time, but we finally made it. We finally made it to the 10-week series. And these are really what Caroline was originally known for. I think there's just so much great other stuff that people haven't been showing on YouTube, because when I was looking through, I was like, is there somebody that's already sort of like gone over all of this? And then I couldn't find anybody. People went over the epic workouts, but that was it. And so I wanted to make sure that I covered all of the other stuff as well. But I'm going to talk to you about all of these 10-week series, because the 10-week programs are really where the magic can happen and where you can see the most progress from when you started to when you finished if you're taking those measurements. So Epic 1, this is actually one of the only series that I haven't completed in its entirety. I did a couple of weeks for you guys, but I knew I wasn't going to make it all the way through the weeks in order to get this video up in like a timely fashion for the new year. But this one is a 10-week program, and I feel like because this is the very first epic, it feels a little more acrobatic to me, sort of like the Cirque du Soleil comment I made a little while ago about some of the calisthenics. There's some more challenging movements from a mobility perspective than there are in some of the later like epic programs. So this one for me feels less beginner friendly than maybe an Epic 2 or an Epic Heat or whatever the case may be. And I'm sorry, they're going to run you 40 to 60 minutes, and it is a combination of dumbbells as well as some calisthenics. And most of the Epic programs are some sort of combination between dumbbells and calisthenics. But I feel like if we were like ranking and talking about all of these, and I'm going to name them in order for you, but if we're talking about the original Epic, that's going to be the most challenging from a mobility standpoint. So something to keep in mind. Then we've got Epic 2. And Epic 2, sort of in the same way, is between 30 and 60 minutes. And I'm pretty sure there's like a 1-hour workout every single week, if I'm remembering correctly. I just looked it up. You'd think I'd be able to remember it, but I have mom brain. But there's a 1-hour workout every week, because she used to do a 1-hour Friday, and so that carried over. And so these are some of the longest workouts that Caroline offers. So keep that besides like the 1-hour series. This is going to be one of the longer periods, if that makes any sense. Epic 2, you've got like 30 to 60-minute workouts, but these are some of the longer duration workouts. They do, again, feel a little more complex in nature in terms of some of the mobility, just like with Epic 1, but not quite to the same level as Epic 1, in my opinion. But overall, it's a really great series, a great combination of dumbbell and body weight workouts, and then you are going to get the strength training and HIIT component once a week, just like with all of the other Epics. Epic Hiit. Okay, Epic Hiit is probably my favorite of all of the Epic programs, and part of the reason I like Epic Hiit so much is because they're 30-minute workouts, and it is, as the name would suggest, Epic Hiit. So it's a little more intense because of the 30-minute windows of time. But oddly enough, this is actually the first Caroline series that I ever completed, and I think that's part of the reason is because it's 30-minute increments, and Fuel and Iron didn't yet exist when I started, and so I did Epic Hiit because it was shorter in duration. And again, it just goes to show you that you can make these workouts as hard as you want to, or you can dial it back a little bit to make it better fit for you. And so that's exactly what I did with Epic Hiit, because it was the very first series that I ever completed with Caroline, and I used just lighter weights to do the movements, and so I still got a solid workout in, but it was at my level. And now that I'm more advanced, I can work out harder and use heavier weights when I'm doing Epic Hiit. So it's one of my absolute favorite 10-week series, and I highly recommend it. But honestly, like, there's not really a Caroline workout that I don't recommend. So there's that. I really do. There was none in here that I'm like, no, everybody should skip that one. They really are all terrific. Okay, we've got two more to discuss. So Epic 3 is sort of a more similar format to Epic 1 and Epic 2, where you're going to have like 30 to 40 minute workouts. And these workouts function really in the sense of increasing the reps, as opposed to in Epic 1 and Epic 2. Like, it's more increased reps, but it's also not quite as complex in terms of some of the like body mobility movements. She doesn't utilize like pistol squats and things like that like she does in original Epic and Epic 2 that I can recall. It's been a minute since I've completed Epic 3, because I completed Epic 3 when it started, but from my memory and from looking back at it, it didn't feel as complicated from a mobility standpoint. So this is a really good option. Again, a solid, you're going to get arm, leg, full body, and HIIT components throughout the week, alternating between, which elements you're working or which muscle groups you're working throughout the weeks. Again, a terrific series, and just, one I would really like, but I like them all, so there's that. And finally, we have Epic Endgame. And Epic Endgame, now some of these actually came after Epic Endgame. Iron and Fuel, I believe, came after Epic Endgame. But Epic Endgame was the last Epic series that she did on YouTube. And what makes Epic Endgame special compared to the other series is that Epic Endgame was all about having a 100 rep finisher of some kind. So as you progress through the series, each workout has a 100 rep finisher of some kind. And depending on the day and, the muscle group, that could be 100 sit-ups. That could be 100 squats. That could mean 100 burpees. I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, the finale workout has 100 burpees. So, it can get really super intense. And that was sort of the name of the game in Epic Endgame. And those were running about 30 to 45 minute workouts as well. So those are all of the Epic workouts. Those are all of the 10-week programs. Again, not including anything on the app. That's a story for a different day. But overall, if you've been thinking about Caroline Girvan, I highly recommend it. I have seen great success even without getting my nutrition in order. I've seen great success just utilizing her workouts alone. If you watch this channel, you know that I believe in nutrition and fitness, but I think getting your mind wrapped around a fitness program and being able to follow a program that actually works and makes sense and gets you to your goals is really important. Because when you just go to the gym and you just sort of show up and try to do different stuff, sometimes you don't see results because you're not working the right muscle groups in the right way. But with Caroline, you're training with a purpose, and so you really can see the results if you're putting the work in, if you're making it challenging, if you're pushing your body. Because the reality of it is, if you're choosing workouts because they're easy, you're never going to see any results. You have to step outside of your comfort zone in order to see progress and in order to see results. And I think that's really one of the reasons why Caroline's workouts are so spectacular, because they really do challenge you mentally and physically. And so they get results. So I really hope that this video was helpful for you. And if it was, I would love if you would give it a thumbs up. And YouTube should be recommending something else to you that they think you're going to love. And I hope you love it too. So thanks for watching. Bye, friends.